So I've been wanting to do book reviews for a while. I just never had the time to. I still barely do, but I'm going to try to squeeze at least one in. And these are books that I've already read. The reason this one is not going into favorite books is because of the topics. I feel weird talking about people who existed and people who, suffered a lot. Like if they were fictional characters, because, I still respect the fact that these people all were alive, are alive, and went through so much hell. So, this one was a book that I picked up because I took a Holocaust class back in high school. We also learned about some other genocides. We didn't get into every one that's documented, but we got a good chunk of them too, towards the end of the trimester. But, semester, sorry, why am I thinking trimester? All But My Life by Gerda Weissman Klein was a tough read. The way I found out about this book was I watched a documentary where she was talking about her experience with the death marches, which essentially when the war was going, ending, the Germans took everybody that was in a concentration camp and forced them to walk for miles on end with the sole purpose of moving them or killing them on the way to another camp. So the story starts off with Gerda's family in Poland. She details a little bit about her life, that her dad was a World War I veteran, if I'm not mistaken, and he and her mom married in that house that she grew up in, she was born in, and she lived there until they were pretty much forced out. She was separated from her family. She went through hell in labor camps. The only person she really had was maybe 2 or 3 friends, specifically her best friend Ilsa, who was a pianist and had family, but she had been ripped away from them as well. And the girls end up pretty much going on a death march. During the death march, she sees a lot of horrific things, goes through a lot of horrible things as well. Ilsa dies. She pretty much got, double whacked by exposure and by getting beaten by a German guard for asking for water. And Gerda also details her life after, being saved and taken to hospital. She meets her husband. She goes through all this stuff, and eventually she's able to migrate over to the US. And towards the end of the book, she talks about how there was things that were so asinine thinking about them that happened to her later on that she didn't feel like they were a big deal. Like one of the chapters, I think towards the end, details that she had spilled some baby formula on her shirt or jacket right before she was going to go to a conference. And at first she was worried about the stain, but then she's like, I've gone through worse. Does it really matter if I have a little bit of baby milk on my shirt? And honestly, she seems like she would have been a really lovely lady to meet. And I do recommend you guys check out this book and read it. It's really well written, beautiful. If you need to take breaks between reading it, I would recommend that too, because it is a little tough read. So yeah,